girl took a blue potion, and her body underwent strange changes. Sharp spikes emerged from her elbows, allowing her to crawl on walls like an animal. However, these bizarre changes terrified her. Ella touched the new spikes growing from her body, and the intense pain made her cry out. She tried to use makeup to make herself look normal, but was horrified to find her nails starting to fall off. She lightly dusted her face with powder, then showed her severely decayed hands to her friend, but instead of sympathy, her friend accused her of being a murderer. The day before, Ella had caught her boyfriend, Ebby, cheating with her friend. The two had hurriedly left the bathroom, leaving behind a bottle of blue potion. In a fit of anger, Ella had taken the potion, and her body immediately began to change, with waves of dizziness hitting her. She stumbled into the bathtub, trying to stay conscious, unaware that her cells were undergoing a massive transformation. After some time, when Ella started to feel better, Ebby was violently pushed into the bathroom. It turned out the blue potion was stolen from a drug lab, and Solomon demanded its return, or Ebby would be severely punished. Ebby, terrified, had forgotten where the potion was. Before Solomon's men could search the villa, Ella slowly emerged from the bathtub and confessed to drinking the potion. Ebby, once again betraying his girlfriend, pointed Solomon's men towards Ella. However, Ella had already disappeared. Angered, the gang beat Ebby and shot her in the thigh. After they left, Ebby regained consciousness and noticed the strange spikes on Ella's arms. Ella speculated that it was a side effect of the drug. As she pried open the door, she asked what the blue potion was, but Ebby didn't know either. Frustrated, Ella punched out, breaking the bathroom door with immense strength. Solomon's men were still in the villa, so they escaped through the bathroom skylight onto the roof. Ella effortlessly jumped to the next building, pulling Ebby along when she almost fell. Ella noticed blood on her palm and felt something crawling under her skin. As she fled, she found herself pursued by Solomon's men. She leaped from the roof, expecting to fall to her death, but landed unscathed. Her friend accused her of causing Ebby's death. With chaos within and pursuers behind, Ella fled, collapsing in the street, where a friend from a party found her and took her home. The man tried to take advantage of the unconscious Ella, but she suddenly awoke, slashing his face with her newfound spikes. Horrified, she watched the spikes retract into her elbows. She cut them off with nail clippers, scared by the changes in her body. Seeking help, she went to the hospital, but the doctors were too busy to see her. In the distant year, environmental pollution had filled the air with deadly toxins, and people needed to buy expensive antidotes to survive. The hospital was filled with patients suffering from air poisoning. When the doctor saw the strange red lines on Ella's face, he immediately called for security to isolate her. Ella quickly ran, but being unfamiliar with the hospital layout, she accidentally ran into a patient's room. With a single thought, white scales emerged from her hands, allowing her to climb the walls like a gecko. She gestured to the girl in the bed to stay silent, and the girl complied. Once the security left, the bedridden girl mistook Ella for an angel. Seeing the weak girl, Ella felt compassion and gave her all the Arimay antidote she had, as she seemed to have developed immunity to the toxins in the air. With nowhere else to go, Ella eventually found her friend who had betrayed her. The friend continued to accuse Ella of being a murderer. In anger, Ella slammed the microwave door shut, shocking her friend with her newfound strength. Just then, the phone rang. Solomon offered help over the phone. Desperate to find a cure, Ella, despite being pursued by Solomon, saw this as her only hope. After hanging up, Ella ravenously ate a rare steak before heading to the meeting place. Ella woke up from unconsciousness to find herself tied to a chair. However, they underestimated her evolution. With a thought, sharp spikes from her arms easily cut through the restraints. Though surrounded by danger, her intense hunger resurfaced, and she devoured the raw meat nearby. Hearing footsteps approaching, Ella grabbed a knife for self-defense. Ella, now distrustful and agitated, suddenly unleashed a magical attack on Solomon and his companion, seriously injuring them. At that moment, armed police surrounded the building. Solomon handed the last bottle of potion to his companion, choosing to stay behind. Eventually, both were captured by the armed officers, and Ella was placed in a cell with Solomon directly across from her. Curled up on the ground, Ella felt unwell. She touched her ear and with a slight pull, found she could detach it completely. Terrified, she noticed a strange new ear growing in its place. Ella was losing her sense of identity. With her cap pulled low, Solomon watched the desperate Ella and revealed the origins of the potion. Arimay had always controlled people's lives through their expensive antidotes, causing many who couldn't afford them to die. Solomon claimed his intention was to help everyone adapt to the new environment. As they talked, a man suddenly entered the cell. It was Danny, the owner of Arime Pharmaceuticals, who recognized Ella from a previous advertisement she had done for the company. Shocked by Ella's appearance, Danny assured her that with their technology, they could help her recover. Before Ella could respond, turning around, he ordered the police behind him to release Ella, and immediately he took her back to his pharmaceutical company. After a series of thorough examinations, medical experts discovered that Ella's metabolic rate was 2% faster than that of normal humans, and her genetic sequence had already transcended the human category. Realizing the genetic mutation in Ella's body, Danny's greed was sparked. For a long time, Solomon had been secretly producing low-cost antidotes to break Arime's monopoly on the market. Danny already harbored resentment towards Solomon, and learning that developed a gene-altering potion made him even more covetous. He wanted Solomon to join his team or hand over her research, but Solomon held firm to principles, insisting work was for the greater good, not for profit. When Solomon refused to yield, Danny turned his attention to Ella. Ella was placed in a lab with toxin levels 20 times higher than normal, yet her body showed no adverse reactions. She woke up groggily, and her evolved super hearing allowed her to overhear a chilling conversation. She learned that Danny did not intend to cure her, but to extract and modify her genes, indifferent to her survival. Enraged, Ella banged on the window, prompting Danny to release a large amount of tranquilizer. Trapped like a lab rat, she quickly lost consciousness under the drug's powerful effects. After an unknown amount of time, 2 doctors entered the room, preparing to inject Ella with an unknown substance. In the next moment, Ella used the doctor's fingerprint to unlock the door, grabbed a lab coat from one of them, and swiftly left. Upon learning of Ella's escape, Danny quickly organized a manhunt. Meanwhile, Solomon's companion, disguised as a delivery driver, arrived at Arime, planting explosives at various locations to create chaos and facilitate a rescue. During her escape, Ella, using her extraordinary hearing, unexpectedly found Solomon's location, but soon heard approaching footsteps from patrolling security. She picked up a lab coat from the ground. Using a guard's fingerprint, Ella opened the lab door and turned her back to Solomon, revealing her bare back. Aside from the dark lines, something seemed to be breaking out of her back, and her ears had fully transformed, gradually shedding her human features. Enraged, Ella pinned Solomon against the wall, demanding find a way to reverse the transformation. Solomon took her to Arime's lab, revealing that both Arime's and her own potions were derived from the genes of centipedes, the only creatures unaffected by the atmospheric toxins. Ella realized she was transforming into a human-like centipede. Solomon planned to take Ella to meet her scientist allies, but was unexpectedly captured by the police. Before she could finish speaking, a sudden explosion interrupted their conversation. The two hurriedly ran outside, encountering their rescuing companions. Solomon's ally drove a van to draw fire, allowing Ella and Solomon to escape into the forest. As they ran, Ella sliced through barbed wire with her sharp arms, eventually reaching a water tower. Solomon, gasping for breath, urged Ella to go on alone, saying they would be caught if they stayed together. He handed Ella the sample formula and told her the hiding place of another trustworthy scientist, hoping Ella could save more people struggling against the toxins. Ella leaped off the water tower, and in the final scene, Solomon was recaptured. Ella, having fully evolved with stunning wings, found the other scientist. Together, they aimed to perfect the potion and save humanity,